And briefly, we're going to talk about this fungus or this STD, right? Uh-oh, sorry about that. Okay, so briefly, we're going to get into it right fast. This STD that's been floating around. I've been seeing it. I guess they like, it's coming from New York. New York City, the big black apple. No. But New York City, right? So there is a, well, they said it's coming from one man. They say that they have one case, but I don't know. It's getting all bad. This is why we need to pray, and this is why the Lord has His covenant in place between man and woman in union. And this adultery and fornication is getting out of control, folks. So this is, I don't know how to really politically correctly say this, but it is a TMV11. Who knows that in old English letters? Is that 456? Is that TM? Doesn't the V in Old English stand for 4 or 5? I don't know. Okay, hold on. We gonna get into it though. Well, y'all see the thumbnail anyway. Okay, but I just okay, we're gonna get into it, folks. It's been a long night for me. Well, a long day. All right. So look, the sexually transmitted fungal infection that I am referring to is caused by fungus abbreviated as TMV11. I'm just going to say that, okay? And I hope that I have this fungus right, but it is the one. It is the one that everybody's talking about. But we're going to get into it, right? So this stands for trichophyton mentagrophites, genotype V11. Let me just spell all this out for the scholars and, write it down, people, and go search it, right? Because I don't know if I pronounced the name right. But it is spelled TRICHOPHYTON. That's the first word. Trichophyton. Okay, trichophyton. And then the next word is mentagrophites. And that is spelled mentagrophytes, right? So mentagrophites genotype, okay? And then it is the number V11. So I forgot how it go, in the old English letters or however you call these, politically correct, the correct terminology, folks, Sometimes you want to say things and you don't know how to say them correctly, okay? But I know what I'm looking at. So it's the V11, whatever number that is, right? It is a rare, newly emerging type of severe ringworm that is primarily transmitted through intimate skin to skin and sexual contact. Okay, right? But they said it came from the male, right? And this male had came to get seen by the doctor, and he was going from state to state. He was just, I guess, on vacation or something, and he was having sexual relationships with other men. So this disease was contacted through male to male, skin to skin contact is what they not telling you all, okay? And there's only one case of this. So be on the lookout and be on the aware and be vigilant, and just take mine for the LGBTQ plus, if I'm saying it right, community. God bless you all, okay? Hate the sin, love the person, right? But look, you guys need to be careful because this is so far coming from a man. It is a man who had these skin to skin sexual contacts, relations. It was a man with other men, right? He is the one, the man is the one who is reporting this to his doctors. Now, let me see. Let me see. So Cleveland, the Cleveland Clinic says they want you to note that the term ATO-1 actually refers to an ATO1 gene found in different fungi like Candida albicans, which regulate how the fungus absorbs nutrients, but it is not the name of the sexually transmitted disease itself. Okay, so ATO-1 is not the name of the sexually transmitted disease itself, all right? So, and then furthermore, let's see what PubMedCentralPMC.gov says. Key facts about TMV11. So all capital letters TMV11. According to the Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, here's what you need to know about this emerging infection. All right. So first pray. This is what you need to know. And ask the Lord, hey, Lord, you see what's evolving out here in this world. How do I teach my children? How do I teach and educate myself and others around me? And how do I stay safe? And Lord, find me a husband and or a wife for my children and for myself in the name of Jesus Christ. Do you guys understand? Now, the symptoms. Oh, okay, wait. Did I read that? Yeah. The symptoms, these are the symptoms coming, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC.gov. They are saying these are the symptoms that they have down. It causes pain. It's painful. It's highly itchy. It's red or coin shaped rashes. They typically appear around the genitals, the groin, the buttocks, thigh, or face. Wow. So this thing is mimicking regular illnesses. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, because there's illnesses out here that can mimic these symptoms, except for the oozing type of thing. Okay. But let me read it again. Leprosy, okay. Symptoms. It causes painful, highly itchy, red or coin-shaped rashes. These typically appear around the genitals, the groin, the buttocks, thigh, or face. Okay, so don't be ashamed to go to the doctor for any flare-ups. Not even related to sexual activity, but just knowing that it's a skin-to-skin contact. Don't be ashamed. Because I know a lot of these doctors are impersonable. I know what happens behind the walls of a doctor's office and or a doctor's setting. People are not always professional. And believe it or not, sometimes the doctors and the staff, they act worse than regular folk. You get what I'm trying to say? When it comes to the HIPAA law and, just keeping their remarks to themselves, or sometimes they don't even know how to speak to the patient. They're just all insensitive. It drives me crazy. But it's neither here nor there. I'm just saying I see that all the time. So don't be discouraged. Don't let a healthcare provider stop you from getting your care and or your checkup because of their attitude or their biasness towards you. If it's that serious, you know, change providers and or networks, and report they butt, because they're very insensitive, a lot of them, and they know that this stuff is progressing in the world. Like, what are people to do? But take care of yourself for one, and then let me see what else that I can find on this STD. I just wanted to mention that to you all, right? Okay. Look. The Cleveland Clinic says transmission, it spreads through direct skin-to-skin contact during sex, as well as sharing contaminated items like towels, beddings, or sex toys. So listen up carefully. The treatment Standard over-the-counter antifungal creams often do not work and can make the rash worse. It typically requires prescription or oral antifungal medications like, let me pronounce this word. It's hard for me to pronounce it. Terbinafine. Terbinafine. Let me spell it also. Terbinafine. Taken for several weeks or months. Oh wow. So yeah, it's gonna be a hassle getting rid of this thing once the people catch it. It's gonna have to be monitored. So the Duke Global Health Institute states, if you are trying to find information because you or someone you know has a persistent genital rash, it is important to consult a healthcare provider for an accurate test as it can easily be mistaken for other conditions. Do you hear that? Oh boy, this is terrible. Oh. It's really a damper because this is the sign of the times, So when you guys also begin or, start to, somebody that you feel deemed worthy of sexual relationships, you better be checking their body. Y'all better be checking each other's bodies. You know how the animals, who is it? Is it the chicken or is it the cat? Or is it both animals and then some other animals? To where which ones pick the fleas out your head and lick your skin to make sure you're clean? I mean, us humans now we see where the animals get it from. Okay, you're gonna have to manage each other, keep each other clean. You're gonna have to be looking at somebody's body parts before you engage, and it's gonna have to become normalized because this is what you're gonna have to do. You can't not engage in sexual activity and not look at one another or a person's body because it could be detrimental. You know? Are you guys hearing what I'm saying? It can be detrimental, folks. All right, so let's move on. Let's see what else information we have down here. And I don't see nobody in the chat. I would think that people would be concerned and want to tap in to hear about something like this, but it's neither here nor there. Maybe somebody will come in. All right. So let's see what else. Um, let's see. Hold on. Hold on, guys. All right. Let's see. It says Duke Global Health Institute. Are you researching this for general knowledge, or are you trying to identify a specific rash or symptom someone is experiencing? And these are just side notes from the Center of Disease Control, okay? So it's a new type of ringworm infection. It's an STD. It's called TMV11. And let me see, July 7th, 2026, key points. TMV11 is a new fungus that causes severe ringworm, a fungal skin infection. It can spread through close skin-to-skin contact, including intimate relations and or contact, okay? So, a new STI is spreading in the U.S. What should you know? This is the Duke Global Health Institute, according to them, March 27th, 2026. So this thing has been around for more than a few months. All right, because we're almost starting the month of August. So this is just recorded. It's some side notes, March 27th, and it's recorded before then. Okay, so a DGHI expert breaks down the risk and responses to TMV11. A newly emerging fungal infection predominantly affecting gay men in parts of the U.S. and parts of the USA. A ringworm, okay? So that's what I'm saying. Sexually transmitted fungal infection, TMV11, December 6, 2024. The information does not constitute medical advice or diagnosis. How do you say this? Trichophyton, meningrophytes, genotype TMV11, or other known as TMV11, is a sexually transmitted fungal infection. Okay. According to the CIDRAP, abbreviated CIDRAP or CIDRAP, the Minnesota health officials warn of sexually transmitted fungal infection outbreak since February 12, 2026. The infection is caused by trichophyton meningrophytes type V11, TMV11, a fungus that causes ringworms, round coin-like rashes that are red, and they're leaky and they're itchy and they burn and they hurt. Now, in the medical news today, sexually transmitted fungal infections, TMV11, medical news today, is according to April, well, as far as back as April 10th, 2025, topical antifungal and steroid creams may not work on the TMV11 and may worsen the spreadings. What is the outlook for TMV11? The only currently known sexually transmitted, and then it's cut off. These are jotted notes, okay? But the PubMed Central, PMC.gov, right? The ATO, or the ATL gene family, governs Candida albicans, albicans, colonization in the dysbiotic. You guys can look up that word, dysbiotic, dysbiotic, abstract. The fungal pathogen Candida albicans colonizes the human gut, where short-chain fatty acids serve as a source of carbon. This fungus harbors, and then it's cut off again, okay? So I don't have the rest of the information. It's like ... So let me see what else. So this TMV11. So it's TM7. There we go. Okay. Thank you. Yay for the slow person. And that's me. Okay. So it's TM7, you all. Is a fungal infection that is often spread through sex and intimate skin-to-skin contact. All right. So the U.S. today, sexually transmitted ringworm in Minnesota becomes the largest known outbreak since February 13, 2026. It is a ringworm. We know the name of it. And it affects the skin, the genital areas, the buttocks, the thighs, and things like that I mentioned earlier. So this is an emerging fungus causing ringworms that spread through sex. A new CDC report describes 4 cases, now it's up to 4, of the TMV11, the TM7 infection diagnosed in New York City from April to July 2024, okay? So it's been out for a while. Perhaps they had it hidden, right? Okay, so look. The cases are among the first in the U.S. and were diagnosed in men who have sex with men. So the TM7 may require prolonged treatment, oral terbinafine, and this is a medication, TERBINAFINE, fine, okay? Terbinafine is considered first-line treatment, okay? And then November 1st, 2024, healthcare providers should be aware of this TM7 infection, an emerging fungus causing ringworms that spread through sex. Okay, so this is for informational purposes only. For medical advice or diagnose, please consult a professional. And yeah, okay, let me see what else. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, let me see. Let me see. All right.
Health professionals are
so listen.
Sexually transmitted form of a ringworm that's newly made its way into the U.S. So far, there's 1 reported case, and it is here in New York. CBS 2's Christy Kalishian shares what doctors know so far.
It's an infection that comes from the same fungus linked to conditions you may know of, like ringworm, jock itch, and athlete's foot.
What makes this case a little bit different is it is a type of ringworm that can cause more inflammatory type lesions, and it can occur in the groin area or the genital area.
Dr. Avram Kaplan led the study and authored a report published in the journal JAMA Dermatology earlier this week on trichophyton mentagrophytes type 7, or TM7. It's a sexually transmitted infection that can appear like this in the groin area and can be itchy. So far, the one reported case in the U.S. is in New York City. A man in his 30s, the report says.
It was reported in a journal, which tells you that it's new. We're still learning about it. Because it's just this one case, I think we're really starting to understand how this could happen.
The study says the patient noticed itchy lesions after a trip to England, Greece, and California, where he said he had sex with multiple male partners. Cases popped up last year in France. Earlier ones were linked to those in contact with sex workers in Southeast Asia.
If they have a persistent itchy or painful lesion or eruption around the genital area of the buttocks, that's when they should be seeking medical advice.
The rash could be mistaken for other conditions. If left or improperly treated, it could lead to infection. Doctors say it is treatable thanks to antifungal therapies. City Health Commissioner Dr. Ashwin Vasan says the doctor's office is always judgment-free.
Shame always gets in the way of getting healthy. So I would say never feel ashamed to go reach out to your doctor.
Doctors say communicating with your partner about having conditions like this is key in preventing the spread. Christy Kalishian, CBS 2 News.
All right, so you guys have it. Thank you. And like, share, and subscribe for more content like this at Morona Prophecy 597. Peace. Be vigilant. Be aware. Take care of yourself.